second phase of the budget hearing. And I'm gonna start off with our revenues, projected revenues. And I'm not gonna touch on ones of significance and that deserves attention. I'm gonna start with page 105, the revenues. And local taxes came in pretty high, not pretty high, they did come in probably 1.5% above budget, 657, so we're gonna pay conservative in the budget at 655,000. At the lower motor vehicles with the probate office, come in at extra $3,000. He told me he anticipated that number going up. He said 120,000. So he'd like to put another forward for motor vehicle taxes. We're gonna budget that at that amount. Going to move down to mortgage filing tax. His budget was 8,500. I talked to him regarding that. He did come in year to date at 12,707. He felt comfortable with 15,000. So that increases 6,500. ABC store licenses. We came in pretty high, 13,000 as opposed to 6,000. We budgeted around 10,000. Beer taxes, we still waiting on that last collection cycle. Beer taxes, we think we will meet that number. We're going to leave it at 140,000. Financial institute excise tax. Excise tax has been increasing year over year. Our percentages. When I first come on board, we had no excise tax. Next year, we get 50,000. And it's just been improving year to year to year. It's the highest we've ever attained, 131,000. So we're confident that excise tax, which is the income from the bank, net income, which is distributed to the counties, we feel that they're going to keep growing, and we're going to go ahead and book that at 130,000 because they are improving year over year. SSUT tax. SSUT came in higher than expected. We budgeted 250,000. It comes in at 275,000. We're going to book it at 260. However, per this, what you're looking at with the 0 year to date, that money comes in through payroll, and then it's automatically transferred to the general fund. And we usually try to transfer it out at the end of the year. We're going to try to move it out quarterly now. But that money is there, and it's improving steadily from 18 to 22,000 a month. Okay, let's move on to election refunds. We have one election coming, so we kind of reduced those numbers here, as well as the expenditure side of those elections. So we went from 85,000, since we have a government race coming in November. Yeah. And so we moved those numbers down since it's one election instead of 3 with rounds for primaries and all that good stuff. So you knocked it down to 45,000. But that's expenditure as well. Grant funds, that was from Rob Cameron at 10,320 grant I had got for him from the state of Alabama. I don't know if that's a one-time deal or it's going to be ongoing, but I just got a question mark there. There's no activity there, so I'm just leave it there. Bullock County Development Authority, this is the reimbursement side of our money that we receive from them. We pay their salary, we pay their fringes and all that, and we get reimbursed. It comes to 123,604 this year for the budget numbers from Dave Paget. Okay, let's see, let's go down here.
Excuse me, Patrick.
Yeah.
You said, what's the actual, today is 123,605?
Right, exactly, and it comes almost to what we're budgeting, because right now, Dave gave us a copy of his budget, and it's a 3-phase budget. See, what Dave's budget entails is, first of all, the reimbursement side, what you see as revenues, which is the salaries, the retirement, FICA, workers' comp, unemployment insurance, anything salary related, we get reimbursed. We pay it for them, and they send us a check to reimburse it. The next part that he has is the internal expenditure. We had addressed that there. And internal expenditure is outside of the salaries, which is the daily operation for his office. Then you have that last phase of the budget, which is his external expenditures, and that's when he gives out funding for site preparations, for Franklin Field, for chamber, all those kind of entities. But we'll address that. But yeah, that's what that entails, and that's a reimbursement, which is a revenue to the county. Okay, motor vehicle licenses, probates get feel comfortable when I'm talking earlier about the 60,000. Sheriff's inmate phone, that's 5 lines from the bottom of page 1. They have been collecting, year over year has been increasing from when I first come on board at 5,000. This company has been collecting very well. I decided to budget at 9,000. Okay, let's go to page 2 of 5. At the top, refund level workers' comp. That's usually obtained we have an auditor that comes in from Meadowbrook to do an audit of our workers' comp. Usually, I budgeted that 2,000 because we had some claims out there, and I think we probably have a low return on that refund. However, it did come in high. So I budgeted at 7,500. So that gives you the total revenues for the general fund of $2,424,649 budgeted. All right, let's go to tobacco tax. Same page 205. Tobacco tax pretty much stayed the same. So we're gonna go with 57,000 there, budgeted. Jason gas tax, talking earlier, page 205. The 7-cent gas, if you have a pump, budget at 7,000. The rest of the numbers we're gonna leave there. Total gas tax on 1.6 million. I mean, $1,689,020. Road and Bridges Department, 112. We saw an increase of ad valorem tax for the road and bridges, so we feel comfortable with that number going up as well as ad valorem from property tax and the real property. So we bumped it up 10,320,000. Jason's cost sharing, that's pretty much the same, coming in line with heat and internal lease, 50% reimbursement from the state. Let's see, equipment sold, 200,000. Jason came in pretty high, 306, over $106,000 to the good. Jason, you feel like you want to leave it at 200,000? That's fine, okay. Okay, based on that, basically, the engineer. So the total budgeted, road and bridges revenues, $834,080. Highway traffic fund is $34,500. Basically for my motor vehicles and driver license conditions, and any interest incurred in the account. So we're gonna leave that at 35,400. However, our capital improvement fund, last year was a little optimistic, thought we would come in pretty much higher, but we didn't. We come in at 228,000. I am budgeting this year 230,000. In addition to $300 interest, $220,300. The $3 tax, it's 4-cent gas tax. Talking Jason, we figured 410,000 would be a good revenue number there. We did collect 371,000. I don't know if there are additional monies out there still be collected for the remaining 9 days of this fiscal year. 5-cent tax. Jason project that at 200,000. Let's go to page 305 to get that total. Total budgeted projected revenues $808,050. Established material $75. We just keep that budget in there every year. Reappraisal. Reappraisal is a refund. We're going to continue to stick with 225,000 because we have to get it approved to also have the proper revenue. That's Brian Causey with industrial sales tax. This is BCPA. He projected $600,000 in revenues. He did come in at $616,000. So I feel confident with those numbers that he brought. The BCBA car grant, we moved that out since he had secured that vehicle. In the miscellaneous revenues, he budgeted $1,200. Interest on his bank account for industrial sales tax, he budgeted $500. Rent home Gulf States, that's on the book at $1,644. The scan home payment, and reimbursement, which is a wash. I mean, make sure that is paid off now, so he's removed that entirely from his budget. Total estimated revenue $602,768.44. Jail tax fund. Sheriff, I mean, at 20,000 on the county sales tax, we're gonna leave that on there. Confident with that number, as well as the avenue collections, 259,000. I think we're gonna do a little more collections for my conversation with them, so we're just gonna book it at 260,000 for revenue, which is a 5,000 increase from the prior year budget. Total revenue 290,000 for the jail tax fund. Parish Park, we're going to budget it and keep it the same at 13,500. Tourism came in above, which we were unexpected, but probably got something to do with Avenue coming in and collecting from the lodging tax side. We signed a contract with them, so we feel confident in the budget at $6,000 as opposed to $4,500 last year. County rebuild, talk with Jason. We budgeted $600 last year. Jason feels confident with $650,000. From the county rebuild for the year-over-year increase from the gas tax and the diesel tax. Federal aid fund, that's a fixed number, that's $400,000 a year. We're gonna leave that there. The rescue fund is pretty much the same year to year, $1,500. is accruing on that account, so that's $1,000 that we're gonna accrue. Because the only thing we're gonna have now is expenditures, going into this fiscal year, and I'll address that later on. However, we reopened, the solid waste department, and you see the revenue there, and I budget that on 1,111 customers at $30 per can over 12-month period. It comes to $399.960, and that is budgeted, so we're gonna see how that plays out. We're optimistic that solid waste will do it. I mean, we're standing and coming through it. It's smelling good. All right, payroll fund, that's a clear account there, that's a portion of the SSUT came from, so we transferred that out to the general fund from the payroll account, because it initially hit that account. Excess of plan, it came in pretty higher than expected, and we're confident that it's going to continue to grow, so we're going to budget that at $55,000. The rest of these are basically custodial funds from near reads, revenue commissioner, and probate judges, which is fiduciary fund, and also the district attorney office. So these numbers pretty much try to stay the same year to year. Fiduciary fund, $5,000, district attorney fund, $8,500, workers' check fund, $450, motor vehicle technology fund, $1,500, special training fund, $1,000, and housing trust, $450, revenue commission discretionary fund, $500, motor vehicle and registration title and tech, $10, and that is all our revenues. And based on this, our basic projected revenues are $8,812,812.44. Those are our projected revenues. Ladies and gentlemen, any questions for the projected revenues?
Just a question of what, we budgeted, what, $9,642,000 last year?
Yeah, the difference of that, I'm glad you asked, was the difference of that was the $981,000 in ARP funds. Right, so we can't budget that no more since we basically collected all we collected over the last two cycles. June was the last election cycle, $981,000. That's why you see the huge discrepancy in revenue. All right. Go on down to the expenditures here. Page 116. Starting with the county commission office. Basically, you see I zeroed out premium pay because we're not going to be giving premium pay. I mean, the remaining funding is here, so I mean, we just take it clean out of the budget for all departments. Okay, we're going to touch on what need to be touched here. This is commission office budget. We went up on Social Security here, $10,150. And the reason these numbers may be out of line with Social Security is because of the premium pay. So when we got paid premium pay, it also increased our FICA percentages as well. So we're just going to go back and leave them where they were. Yeah.
Are we going to elect an official chairman?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they will probably table to do a resolution.
Right.
Since it's 10 now, are we going to include that in there, or just, it hadn't passed yet?
Right. No, it hadn't passed yet. I mean, it's up to you, Jimmy wanted to look at it. We adjust the budget when it comes, if it comes.
Okay.
We can always adjust it, yeah.
Okay.
Adjust it, yeah. I mean, that's what you want to do. We can now adjust it in January or February if it passes.
Let's give us a more realistic number if we look at it now.
Right.
We'll see.
I mean, you can make a decision, look at it now, you know, I'm not for increasing that salary, I'm not gonna be for that. I mean, these salaries are too high, we got some of the roads, I'm not gonna be in favor of that, whenever it comes. I don't know why you wanna, put a $10,000 add to that salary, I mean, somebody explain that to me. Other chairmen and other commissioners don't make nearly what we do, you know, I mean, they don't make that much in nowhere, you know, but a full kind of like Bullock wanna raise the salary like that, but that's realistic.
We just leave it off.
Really, it's just saying-
It's just an
I just brought it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought about it already.
Okay, all righty. Let's move on down to gasoline. We budgeted at $2,000. Another adjustment going to be made to the vehicle repairs to that budget. We'll get up from $250 to $500. Radio cell phones, we'll get up to $1,500. We removed hardware and software because, you know, we are going to have an overall IT infrastructure overhaul. So, I mean, we can remove the hardware and software, and this was budget I'm confident with, as well as office equipment. budget did
You
drop.
the radio and cell phone, for what, 1,500 for what reason?
Yeah, that was, because we budgeted 1,000, and it was already at 1,350, so they had one more collection cycle.
We had people on,
I think that's just out of that department, I think that's only the check, that's the only one that's in that department. That I know they have a phone in the commission office, it's chairman right there.
What line you
so
on?
did that one phone with 13?
I'm not sure, I could probably look at it and see, I'm not sure, I mean, that was my understanding, but I'm not sure. I look into it and see, look at this, I need to adjust it down, we'll adjust it down.
So you saying one phone is 1,500?
I'm not sure, I mean, it's, I'm like, look at it and see.
That's-
Yeah, I mean, that if you're talking about $120 a month, then, so I'm glad to see his chairman, who else is in that budget? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Tissa is in that budget too, I'm sorry, you're exactly right, Commissioner, my bad. Tissa is in there too, that's right, and Jason did get her phone, okay, good, I got you. Okay.
Pat, I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you stepped over supplies, county commission.
What was that, say it again, supplies?
County commission.
Yeah, okay.
Is that because of the events that we did with the ARPA funds? The big difference?
Yeah, that's why I'm leaving it the same, yeah. But then, as you see, a lot of the departments is gonna be like over in there. You're gonna see probates, I mean, you're gonna see, revenue, quite a few of them like that. And I'm gonna leave them like that because of the information of our funds, exactly. Because I didn't wanna touch their budgets and supplies, because I know what that represented.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so total, county commission budget, it did drop to 190,275. Also, that drop was included that premium paid 7,000. All right, to the bottom, the courts. Courts, like I said, we moved out premium pay. Salaries and fringes basically stayed the same. Did move up the telephone expense, 2,500. That was in addition to that budget. Total budget still decreased by almost $6,700, $42,798, as opposed to $49,498 last year. District judge, same thing. Only thing we did was adjust the telephone. Budget increased by $500, $1,500 to $2,000. Circuit clerk, same thing. Telephone expenses, $2,800, $3,200. Okay, probate judge's office. Like I said, we took out premiums paid. Adjustments of probate's budget. We're not here in professional services. We're going to talk with him in the preliminary budget hearing. I wanted professional services of $2,500. Supplies, we increased that from $1,500 to $2,000. Maintenance in the system, he did say that it's going to move up. It's going to double basically from $6,000, and he felt comfortable with $13,000 to move that up. And also said he needed a significant increase. And Judge, you did say move that up to $12,000 at postage.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. You want to move that to 12,000. And also you want to add back the training budget of $3,000.
Right.
Okay, so we added that back, took all that into consideration. Okay, his total budget as expended did go up $10,000, $10,500 to $268,564. Okay, let's go to the revenue commission budget. Revenue commission took out the premium pay, salaries and wage and privilege stayed the same. Professional services, that was from Rodney, working on a lot of, there was allocated a lot of this contract allocated to Ms. Reed, but she did on the reappraisal and revenue office. But the only addition she added to that budget was, talking with her, was $7,000, $2,500 increase to $7,000 for postage. Total budget went up about $500 to $211,276. The election budget, as I told y'all, we only have one election coming up. So we had to reduce a lot of these expenditures as well. But a lot of these expenditures for this budget was based on 3 elections. So now we only have one. We had to bump down these numbers because there would be less expense incurred with the election. Voter preparation list, we dropped it to $750. Election workers from $15,000 to $6,500. Supplies from $30,000 to $25,000. The rent on buildings, that's $1,350 because we're charging, like we have 9 facilities at $150 each. $1,350. Repairs and maintenance, I said that's over. So you said all that's over? So what?
We got 9 buildings now?
Yeah, what
Is it 9?
is it 9, Jason, or 8?
What's that? Sorry.
Voting precinct.
Judge.
Oh, Judge,
The voting precinct.
That sounds about right. Nine,
The nine?
I think so. That's what you have there.
Yeah, $950, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You got there, electricity, we didn't spend about $139 in the prior fiscal year on those elections, so we feel comfortable with $150. Absentee voting, that is circuit clerk's fee for the absentees, $57.50. Custodial fees, we bumped that from 6 down to 2,000. Mr. Mack, who's over the custodial of the voting machines, total budget $56.8. Board of Registers budgets, I talked with Ms. Suzanne, and she felt confident leaving the budget as is, $69,790, and that's less the premium pay of $10,500. Out on forestry, that's where Mike Mark comes on board, and we budget him $1,000 in there every year. Okay, industrial development, this is the reimbursement side I was telling you about, gentlemen, when I talked about the 123,605 for the revenue side. This is where it's coming from. This is the budget here from salaries of 92.2. Only thing changing here is the rent plus Rich Stone. We took that out to 12,000. We wanted that removed, and that leaves we want to add professional services, and we added that to industrial sales tax. 121, we'll address that later. But his total reimbursable amount is payable to the general fund will be $123,604.
Is that 12,000, does that relate to Auburn University Extension Office out there? Or
No, that's that would be the 8,400. I think that's 12,000 for the rent expense for the stone builder, because he converted that and took that out and made professional services now. Right here, I'm not sure if we got a copy of that, so that's what he moved that to that, he took out the whole.
that really comes to the county, right? That those funds come to the county.
Right.
And we've been using those funds to help make the annual payment.
Right,
I
exactly.
think originally that was when the Auburn University Extension Agency moved into that.
They moved in there with Tuskegee
All
Hall.
actually, I think they were paying rent when they used to be at the Priori building.
Oh, on 82.
On Main Street.
Oh, okay.
Right down from that one.
Gotcha.
And the extension office was helping pay their rent there. Then when they moved out to the Stone Complex, they were still helping pay the rent, but it was coming to the county. The county was helping use that to pay the armory for.
Figure out $180,000. Yeah.
So is that gonna give us a shortfall of being able to make our payments to the armory? That's all.
Right, I got you. Now, see, that's what I'm glad you
I
brought
guess
that
that's
up.
in another section.
Right, yeah, but I'm glad you brought that. It does relate. It does relate because you all remember when we talked, I think they had a meeting about that, and they paid that 60. Yeah.
Okay.
So that money still, that money
Still
is,
sitting there?
we got it still sitting in the account, yeah. We haven't touched it or anything, yeah.
So the armory basically is gonna be paid off.
Right, I mean, but I don't know if we'll pay all that, because when we talked with man, we talked with training boys, the Armory basically didn't want that pay, they wanted to pay it off over that time frame of the remaining 7 years. However, they gave us that lump sum. They didn't entertain us, we just got it sitting over there in the account idle right now.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, you tell you
So
something.
that might be fine, I mean, I don't want this coming.
Yeah, I got you, yeah.
We got the lump sum, we can take that new payment from the lump sum each year.
Right.
So we can use that lump sum, so we're gonna need that.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
So that 12,000 out of it.
Yeah, and then what he did, he budgeted in place of 13,200 for professional services. What you're gonna see is industrial relations, it's in 121 here, it was on page 121, that would be page 13 of 16, you'll see it, it's budgeted into that 96,550. It's included in there, the reason I come is right here. So I say he has a 3-phase budget. So here, you got the salaries here, that's phase 1. This is phase 2. All of these are included in phase 2. And then you got phase 3, your externally send money to the different entities. So all that's, his budget is kind of complex, it's a 3-phase budget.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to maintenance and operation, page 416. difference we see here is, we're gonna keep 15,000, as you see, I got AIS there, 50,000. These were before, because of the implementation of HVAC systems. We're gonna keep it at 15,000, because basically, in my opinion, the courthouse has been upgraded with new units all the way through, and I'm confident, 15,000 still staying where it is. But I'm sure, like I said, we just want to leave that 15,000 there for continuous purposes, just in case we still need some repairs done to the courthouse guys. And that was the only thing that basically adjusted in that budget. It did drop $6,000 due to premium pay, 165,627. Okay, let's go to the sheriff's budget here, page 516.
Can I back up 1 second on that courthouse? On our security system, to make sure that we're getting it.
The Homeland Security.
Security, the equipment for the courthouse. But you just got to finish talking about.
Wait a minute, let me see. That ain't equipment, this is just maintenance operation. Now, you trying Homeland Security?
Yes.
No, I ain't got to that budget yet, Homeland Security. It's coming up on page 6 of 16.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask about our scanning. And we don't call out back up. You remember we had that scanning system that they could put the persons and stuff. We gonna need that thing. That and that metal detector.
So none of that is not working.
And none of it work.
Did I even come out to walk through?
The walkthrough not working, it ain't scanning right. And then that scanner don't work, it's been told ever since,
Well,
for years now. And then, since we got the ARP money, whatever, can we look into getting that scanner fixed back where we can go ahead and open the
I talked
like it's supposed to be?
to Scott came by today because he had a meeting with the utility board over there today.
Yeah, I didn't go to jump in, but
No, that's okay, but I'm glad you said it.
That should have been done when the ARP money came up. That should have been brought to us
yeah.
way ahead of what we done this budget. Yeah, that should have been brought up.
Yeah,
If you knew that scanner wasn't working, and you knew that metal detector wasn't working, it should have been brought to the county commission. It should have been bought, and that's what we went on to purchase, because the school purchased, everybody else purchased, and we should have been purchased that. Yeah, we went a whole year.
Yeah. Okay, then since you're a man, security, now, do they come up with me, the security guy?
Who's that?
Can you come out security?
Yeah, courthouse, that was up on the courts, right here, that was on page, should be 116 at the bottom.
Okay.
That's about the Swift and,
Swift.
yeah, those two, yeah.
All right, I want to see, I want to ask you, could I get Big Kirk to come back part-time on the security reading? I said that, like, bro, he kind of sick. Some days he can't come home. And then I have Big Kirk to come in and sit in his place. Even David Swift now, he'll age, and he might not can't be there. And it's hard for me to find folks to come and just put in their place, but we need somebody to know it all the time.
Let me ask you this, so.
Go ahead.
Now, you know, each of them, they receive, they're 50 hours per pay period.
I understand.
So you're saying if one is out, the other one can come in, but it still would equal 100 hours per pay period for both.
But
So there's not gonna be a difference, say, if you was out, and he only works 30 hours for that pay period, then you said principal come in and work another 20, so it wouldn't.
yeah,
have-
it won't hurt the budget, yeah. But I want to adjust the budget even with, let's say, it's our job to do the courtroom security for the courtroom.
Mhm.
I can even use them in there. We finna start murder cases now. When we start our murder cases, we got to have somebody up there 12 hours a day almost till that case is over with. And I did, not every day, but just when needed. I was wondering, can I use him just for security, in the courtroom and, I'm just, can we fix it some kind of way? I can have somebody at all
I
time.
think he does a good job with gun security. I think he would be a good.
What kind of,
Good choice,
How much want to amend the budget? Well, I guess what Jackson.
Well, Patrick needs to let him know that is it in the budget to do.
Right.
That's what.
I can do, I
Well,
really.
that's a general fund, that is a general fund, budget that we're talking about. And you're saying that $13 an hour, like I said, the budget is kind of tight. I worked with this budget, I've gone through this budget, day and night, for weeks on end. And this year, I mean, this is the tightest budget that we've seen in a long, long time since I've been here. I mean, we used to have a surplus of $250,000, $300,000. This year, I'm just being honest with you all, our budget, I mean, revenue versus expenditures, we're right at $18,000 surplus. And we used to be at $200,000 surplus. It is really tight this year, y'all. I mean, I'm just being honest, it is really tight this year. And then with the advent of the ATL coming in and stuff, then we got solid waste back on here. I mean, I've crunched these numbers up and down, up and down. But I ain't gonna say, Chuck, just let me look at it. I mean, right now, we just, like I said, if I can look at it and later on and see what we can do, I would definitely, help you out and bring it before the commission. But yeah, I'm gonna try to look hard for you, definitely, no doubt. No doubt. Okay, all right, sure. All righty, Joe. I'll move on to, like I said, the sheriff department. Yeah. Sheriff department budget is $12,000. $21,000 premium they came out. We also budgeted sheriff's expense allowance that will convert to a salary in January. So then we also had his base salary $52,500. Employee salary $248,000. Professional services. Yeah.
His salary changed, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The sheriff's salary changed.
Yeah, I got it right. The expense allowance right above it. It don't change until January.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna move that in January, yeah. See, that's expense allowance right above the 52.5. That's gonna, it's, once it changes,
It'll take off.
Right, exactly, there you go. Then we're gonna adjust it to his salary. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Investment services,
So do you need to
Yeah.
adjust the 52.5?
no, 55 is good, we just need to adjust, because that allowance is gonna stay there until January, then we're gonna adjust.
Put it on there.
Yeah.
Then you put
Then it's salary board.
Mm.
That's in the budget.
Right.
In other words, we got October, November, December, we got 3 months at the 1,000 a month, so that should only be 3,000. But then his salary is gonna increase the rest of the budget.
Right.
So from 52, you need to add roughly whatever it is.
Is that 9 to it right now as we speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's gonna happen during our budget.
Right, and then move that to 3 there.
Yeah, so it's still the same.
Still the same, yeah, but it's just a different numbers, I got you. Yeah, that's fine, we can leave it like
This allows to go down to
and salary increase, right, I got you.
That sound?
Yeah, that sounds good, yeah, I got you. All right, okay, so we got that worked out, it's basically gonna wash, okay? Professional service, 2,000, see share gasoline, 46,000 as opposed to 30,000 bucks, I did move it up to 40,000. Your tires also, from 1,000 to 5,000. Let's see, and we also moved, basically that's it. And then we took out that vehicle at 45,000, you said to move out, because you're looking to get one with ARP money, you're saying. Okay, and so that leaves share budget, 529, 585. Okay. All right. Let's move on to emergency management. Emergency management, as Ray Scott, EMA director, took out the 3,500 premium pay, salary change. We did go up on the insurance, but the insurance is $571 a month at 12 months. We did move it up to $1,652. You can see we was out of balance by much because the only thing that we tried to get the local government health insurance board to let us know what that adjustment is going to be before the fiscal year begins. They let us know in January after the fiscal year has already been set. So that what throws us off, and a lot of administrators were kind of hot about that with them. And so they said they're going to see what they can do because a lot of administrators feel like it should have been set before the fiscal year takes place. And that's why we have that little overage sometimes. But otherwise, than that, on page 6 of 16, dues expense, 150 for Ray, uniform stayed the same. His fuel expenses, he felt he needed to go up to 2,500, as well as another 650 on his tires. His travel, he says he's going to be getting some comfort that are clear related, you said, raised down, okay, from 2,000 to 3,000. Ray's budget basically pretty much stayed in line, 84,194. Homeland Security, supplies expense, same thing. The only thing we changed there was the maintenance. Maintenance on the system, ADS, so they moved it up to 1,500. They did come in and do some work. So that's what you moved up 1,500. line by line with him and told him what his budget entails, and if he needs any additional, just feel free to come to me and we can work on some stuff. But he was pretty confident with the budget and the numbers I had given him yesterday. His budget pretty much stayed in line from last fiscal year, $24,980, which was an increase of about $390. Okay. Probation office, these are numbers by law that I have on the books. Juvenile pretty much stayed the same. As well as the probate office, but we did go up, probation office, I'm sorry. We did go up on the telephone expense there from 13 to 50. Let's go to the rescue truck, page 7 of 16. This is Rob Cameron's rescue budget. The only thing Rob comes to me about the change, Rob, with the appropriations, he did want to bump that up another $600 to $4,200 a year. And he also wanted another extra $3,000 added to his rescue equipment. His budget would move from $20,200 to $23,800. Animal control, that budget stays pretty much the same with the Humane Society. I don't know what that SW interest is. I think it's probably something that needs to be adjusted out of there, and I'll look at that. But that budget usually remains at $32,400. Special services, but here, that's something we have to budget and leave on the books, so it's pretty much stayed the same 800. Let's go into the aging department. Aging department, we took $21,000 off of the premium pay. We did adjust the retirement contributions. We did increase the insurance. And Jim, I don't know if y'all know, there's a law out there now, part-timers qualify for health insurance. So you see that big bump from $10,000 to $20,000 now, and health insurance for the aging department, even though those guys are part-time. If they incur $30 or more, they qualify for that $571 a month health insurance.
Is it mandatory that we pay it?
I mean, I think it's the single coverage. I mean, based on what y'all have done. Now, if it's family coverage, you know, he might bear some of that cost. But I think only one is really three, and that would be Miss Deal, that would be Nurse Moran, and that would be Mr. Cook, because Mr. King is on Medicare, so he doesn't, you know, he opt out of this. But the other ones, Cook, Deal, and aging director are inclusive of this $20,000. That went up on the Social Security.
I was just talking.
Yeah.
I was talking about part-time.
Oh, part-time. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was talking about part-time.
Oh, okay.
We pay for part-time.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Okay, I got you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because all of them, it's 571 on the part-time and full-time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard too when I had heard about it. Okay, professional services, moving that down to 2,500. Supply expenses, we bumped it up to 1,000. Tire expense on those vans, because those tires, are wearing on those vans, and we're trying to secure another van, so that tire expense $1,500. Repair and maintenance on the vehicles that have issues with HVAC units in there, in the vans, so I'm going to go to 2,000. On electricity, I moved that to 250 to 1,000. Our aging vans match, I'm still leaving that on the books for us to secure the van. Definitely back to the number. But that budget did drop overall to $186,785 from $202,546. OCAP budget remains the same there. We keep that on the books. Pipe regional adequacy center, that still remains on the book.
It dropped because of the premium rate, right?
Right, exactly. That's it. Mm-hmm. Parks and recreation, we'll leave that pretty much the same over for Harris Park. Bullock County Board of Education, that budget pretty much stays the same. We are paying utilities and water for law. Okay, transferring out. I don't know if they're making that. I think that was something else. And they had purpose to put into a journey. I would never adjust the journey for that. All right, 9 of 16. This is tobacco tax. Basically, that's pretty much the same. We come down here about 3/4 of the way down. See the total budget, $54,750. We can vote that on. Gasoline tax fund. Remove the premium pay of $14,000. Everything is pretty much on track. With their budget. Go down to all the fringes and the salaries. Move to page 10 of 16. And there will be an adjustment there. Year to date, gas and diesel, $113,000. 2009-2020. I talked to Jason and felt 100,000 was good going into the next fiscal year. I wrote construction, I did better than 100,000. The solid waste pickup, I removed that from the budget, since we have a solid waste department now, and, that was a $5,000 line item that I did remove. Also now about we see interest ATL. ATL will be replacing that region 2009 bond issue. The ATL bond issue will be replacing it. And the good thing about it is the interest is almost the same as the interest from the 09 series, because we have two interest payments, one in August and one in February. They both total around $143,000 total. And per the contract, per the agreement in the bond indenture, is that a third of that is paid from gas tax, and which is that interest. And you will see when we come over here to the expense side of the county reveal, the remaining principal of $275,000 will be paid out of the county reveal. That total budget here is $1,686,442. All right, let's go down to road, bridges, and buildings. We'll premium pay $5,000. Salaries still pretty much remain the same. Did go up on the gasoline down at the bottom of the page. Did expend in excess of the budget, $5,000. We looked at $10,000. Jason's coming with that. Then we move down into the funds. We have to fund Mr. Lee, so we did add an additional $250 to that funding package. Total $706,734 budget with highway traffic and highway traffic fund. Basically, this will be paid our workers' comp out of it and other general liability. We moved that up to $37,000 from $34,000. Okay, now capital improvement fund. Capital improvement fund, I just budgeted $20,000 because we basically paid that $85,200 off. That was paid off. That was the roof. We do keeping that at appropriations to the hospital of $22,000. Jason on the other page, 12 and 16. At the top, road and bridges, Jason up to 50% of the capital improvement fund, $125,000. We still have the old cap of $60,000 we're going to budget, but that is the matching portion along with the other funding, $90,000 from SSUT, whatever this old cap project get off the ground. So that money still has to stay there and be encumbered in that account. The Black Book Foundation went from 1,000 to 1,500. Mr. Ron Smith came before me and asked me could they add another 500, so I'm just bringing before you all. He wanted to move up another 500 from $1,000 for Black Belt. That total capital improvement $229,500. Like I said, I did budget something for just maintenance operation in that budget, even though we have another budget or outlay for that line item, I did put $20,000 in there. All right, let's go to gas tank employees, 3R fund 117. All of them pretty much stayed the same, except for the transfer out, which the funding that goes out to pay the salaries of these gentlemen to the road and bridge and gas tax fund. Did move that up $10,000, which moved the budget up another $10,000 from $851.15 to $861.15. Reappraisal fund. So Mr. Reed's budget over here, the mappings, remove the premium pay. Salaries, we did have to bump that up a little bit, from 56 to 60,000. She still wants to include that part-time reappraisal position because she's still saying she wants to hire a part-time bookkeeper. So I left that $23,000 in there. Health insurance, like I said, I had to add on because after the fiscal year began, the increase hits our budget. So I just went ahead and put $6,852 for the total insurance for Ms. Xavier. Okay, next thing she wanted to do, she did want to increase the rent, looking at dividing by $2,000 to $7,000. She did want to go up $800 on the training to $2,300. She wanted to go up $300 on the dues, which will raise to $800. The GIS system, $8,000 to $9,600. Repair and maintenance, she wanted to move from $500 to $1,500, sorry. Electricity expense, I reduced that, $3,000 to $1,500. Water expense I also reduced. $1,500 to $750. Telephone expense stayed the same. Postage, she wanted to go for an additional $2,000 up to $6,000. Advertising, we dropped from $1,000 to $500. On to page 13 and 16, continuing the reappraisal budget. Lodging and meals, she decided she was going to do a lot of training and conferences. She wanted to move on here. Oh, I'm sorry, which one?
Same question.
Go ahead.
We're talking about this.
Oh, okay, you want me to go ahead?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Lodging and meals, reappraisal, 2,500. The meeting and conferences, 2,000. She wanted we decrease the general liability on that side, because the majority of the liability had been allocated. So we reduced it by 1,500. Amount of office equipment, it's we dropped it by 500. No capital outlay. Now, what she did ask, that she wanted, inclusive of this Eagle View area mapping, 40,317. I talked with her about it. I also talked with the vendor, Mr. Lamons from Eagle View. This is a view of a drone taking pictures of snapshots from the whole county with all the parcels and lanes or whatever. And the total contract is paid out over a 3-year period. So in fiscal 22, 23, and 24, $120,000, in which we pay $40,317 annually. And that's for the first project. And then the next project, if they want to go into it, would be for 26, 27, and 28 fiscal years for another $120,000. So I called Brian Collison when I was on the Department of Revenue, and he stated that, yeah, that is something we're all going to, and the majority of the counties are going that way. So I told him it was okay for me to add that to her budget. He said he didn't see anything wrong with it, because, you know, they also approved her budget as well. But just letting y'all know what Mr. Collins from Alabama Department of Revenue thought about this too. I mean, what do y'all think about it? I mean, we had some concerns that, hey, we could Google and get the same output. But Department of Revenue highly recommends Eagle View. So, I mean, our budget will take a substantial increase from 260 to 253,000.
How do we sustain that? That's $100,000 difference.
You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's something.
I mean,
we have to look at.
basically, what will have to happen on that end then, I mean, I'll get with Mr. Causey, I mean, once this is approved or whatever, and basically, it's gonna have to be a transfer in from general fund to support it, because the revenues itself can't support it. Right. Now, I've talked with Mr. Causey, I mean.
Say that again?
The revenues from reappraisal, I don't know, will it support it? We will have to entertain a transfer in from the general fund to support it, if that's the case, because the reappraisal department is based on agricultural taxes as well. And a portion of it goes to road and bridge, reappraisal, probate, and to the revenue commission office as well. And I mean, that kind of concerned me about the budget with this here, when she brought it to me late in the game. I mean, that's substantial, maybe $40,000. And your revenue base, I mean, is not supporting it. Yeah, well,
Patrick, I heard you mention Google Maps and others. I mean, this proposal, and you said other counties are going for it and stuff like that, but what's the significance of it over Google Maps and looking at property another way? You know,
Right.
I mean, what's the value in this for the county?
right.
I'm trying to get at, you know, I just go to Google Maps and see the same thing pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Only thing he said was that Google basically.
We're going to use a whole lot, because we don't have some of the people come here with use themselves. Even with surveying and appraisals and such, and title search.
Right.
Nobody comes here from out of town, other than the guy from the fall, I think it's like that.
And one thing he said though, I mean, I don't think it was of significant value, added value to this, but he said, the snapshots they take, when the leaves fall off, you get a better view of the front, back door property. He said the most Google do it is in the summertime with the leaves on the tree, you can't see nothing. He's saying, I guess that was his 7 point, which I don't really think it was a 7 point, to be honest with you. But that was one of his 7 points. And the clarity of the shots. He was like, the images are better, they're not faded or foggy or nothing like that. He said, there's much clarity than it is with Google search and any other mapping or area mapping system. But I just bring that to y'all attention. Yeah, because I mean, that's a huge expenditure. I mean, you're talking $120,000 over a 3-year period, $40,000 a year. That's a huge bump. I mean, really. And we just basically got into E-Ring. That was another $80,000 hit we took from moving from the CSI over to this program. So that was another huge hit we took, but we withstood that. This here, I don't know, but I mean, it just raises me a little doubt on the budget wise. Not taking them from it, maybe a great piece of equipment, but And they're saying that the surrounding counties and other counties are using it, but I'm just bringing it to y'all attention. That 40,000, I mean, it could be significant to the budget.
Well, we can look at it, based on what you said, $18,000 difference, you know, when you don't have.
Yeah, so much.
We'll just keep that in mind.
Okay.
Just keep it in mind. So,
Don't include it.
yeah.
Don't include it right now.
Yeah, we'll just keep that in mind.
Okay. So I removed it then, so then you take that out, the budget, whatever, I can't pass it. So we would take 40,000 off the 253,476, which would leave about 213 and some change, 213,000 some change for the budget. But I will correct those and give y'all those exact numbers. Because I guess we can entertain this at a later date.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to,
We don't want to cut the budget.
Right.
Very close to add something that we really don't have to have.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move down to the center page, industrial development. I discussed with y'all earlier about Dave's three-phase budget, and this is the budget. The 96,550 is his internal day-to-day operations budget, which entails vehicle expenses, the light, power, electricity, all that good stuff. And the remaining 50,000, 10,000, 18,000, those are the external expenditures where they give out money to the change of site preps, Franklin Field for the library, usually for the Board of Education, but they paid that off now. So that budget totals, let's go all here. And he also wanted to add, $30,000 for site development. Let me get that total number there. That total number, would be, total budget would be 382, less than 123. I think that budget's around 259. Don't quote me on it, but I will give you the exact numbers. Because this budget plus the general fund budget is going to equal his total budget of $382,781 in total, which will include the salaries and his internal and his external. So I'll put all that together for you all when we wrap this up. Okay.
Before you go back,
Yeah.
now how do we deal with Tuskegee on this? I see Auburn Extension Service, $18,000, and Tuskegee as extension service there too.
Like I said, so here's his budget laid out here. I should have gave y'all a copy of it. So here's his breakdown. I see you saying that 18 there.
They split that.
It falls up under, they split it.
Yeah, the thing with it, Tuskegee, when I came on board, Tuskegee was mismanaging, I'm not gonna say it all that. Our extension offers Auburn started handling.
Right.
Jeffrey Moore wasn't getting the amount of money that he's supposed to got from Tuskegee when the money was going directly to Tuskegee. So when Auburn started handling the funds, he started getting the exact amount that we set aside for him. So that's why Auburn been handling it ever since. What Tuskegee did, just put it in a general fund, and then just gave Mr. Jeffrey what they felt like they wanted to give him, instead of the amount that we had allocated for him. I mean, that was my understanding when I first started. So they got a good working relationship, and Mr. Jeffrey is getting the money that's allocated for him.
He's getting it through what? I mean,
He's getting it through Auburn University.
Should we go
And that'll be through the extension service.
Should we go ahead and split it out and give Auburn part and Tuskegee part?
Well, the thing with it was a problem. I mean, we can do it on the books, but Mr. Jeffrey said it was a problem with him getting his money from when he was sending it directly to Tuskegee.
How about if we send it, so what we're doing is sending it all to Auburn, and they give all of that.
Right.
But are they giving him what he's supposed to get, or, I guess it is working on it.
He said it was working fine. He was getting the money, you know. He said that was working fine with him. Now, if we want to change it, we can.
we can just check it, you know,
Yeah.
let's look and, check with them on that. We can move on and check with Tuskegee.
Let me see what you said right now.
did have the number down there, it was right below the total for the industrial development, the 259,177, I overlooked it. All right, let's move on to the bottom of jail tax fund. Sheriff, we moved up premium pay. Sheriff's salary, 177, he came in, we budgeted 167. We gotta move it up to 172,000. Overtime, we're gonna leave that at 1,000 there. We also want to move up Sheriff Blue Cross Blue Shield, 41 to 150. The other adjustment to this budget, we're removing Amway pickup, because I think, does the free service for us for the county, or do departments pay for the trash as well? I don't think we do. So I did remove Amway out, 895, that was the only adjustment to his jail budget. But also, like I said, Sheriff, going forward, we did include, we did give Turpin and Kadeem, you know, and then got your new guy, Jamal, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so they're all taken care of. All taken care of. And the total budget is 289,593. The Harris Park Fund, yeah, which, now, I made an error last year, but I got 11,000, because it's supposed to be 5,000 to Rosenwald. So I just moved that 6,000, I'm gonna set an appropriation line item for, you know, the 5,000 from Miss, what is Miss Thomas?
She
Yeah.
got the funds, right?
She got,
Yeah, that was the, they are.
no, the 5,000 from our budget.
Okay,
75, yeah, so we don't need to put that back in there, you saying? Because we've already given her the 5, so. Yeah, we already gave her the 5, earlier this year. I know we got rid of 75 for the ARP, so we just wanna leave that 11,000 right there. But I think we can leave it there, or we can break it out. I don't know, did she come ask for another 5? I'm not sure, I just can't remember. Oh, she did, okay, well then I'll just leave that in at 12, 9, 20. Okay, well, let's go to tourism. We moved that up to 5,700 from 55, and also the revenue moved up as well. So when they expense more, they brought in to generate more revenue to expend those. Okay, county review. Talking with Jason, you know, we budgeted 600,000. Now, what I did, I reduced that 600,000 by the amount.
Go back to that.
Go ahead.
You can leave that 5.
Leave it there? Okay, yeah, I'll just leave it in there, make it 12, 9, 20. You saying just leave it in the budget? Okay, yeah, I'll just leave it in. It'll be crossed out. Okay, we'll leave that in at 12, 9, 20. Okay. All right. Jason's kind of reviewing, 600,000 budgeted. Now, like I say, what I did there was, since the total budget is 600,000, I don't know if they change it, Jason wants to change it, but I did reduce it by the ATL principal, but we do have a principal payment of 275,000 coming, and which it is by law a permanent bond indenture to pay it out of the county bill. So we're looking at 325 with road payment and gravel, and then selling the road construction, and also 275 is gonna make up that budget for the ATL principal, which still will be a total of 600,000 expenditure. Is that right, Jason? Or?
Yeah, that's roughly right.
Okay.
That portion of payment comes like 7%. Take that off.
The interest does. Yes, well, the interest was 144,000 that came out of road, gas tax. Yeah, and which, like I said, it was so coincidental that it was the same amount almost as the 09 bond interest. It was like 143, but you know, the interest on the 09 was 144. So yeah, it's a long good interest rate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is the offset of, this is the 275. So the 140 plus the 270 is gonna equal the total bond and interest payment for fiscal year 23. Okay. All righty, then we go down to federated exchange. By law, Jason received that 400,000, and we offset it against 400,000 in revenue. Okay, let's move over to the rescue fund. That's another fund for Rob. We just leave that the same. The LWC grant. Actually, Jay, that grant is closed out now.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, just some paperwork.
Yeah.
It's basically finished.
Yeah, we make sure it.
I think one more reimbursement.
That's what I was just about to say, yeah, remaining reimbursement coming from the state, so okay, we're good on that. American Rescue Plan, like I told y'all earlier, we've encumbered $863,000 that we're gonna, go ahead and submit to the eligible entities for this past fiscal year. YC Nash, Town of Midway, all those are incorporated into this number. I will give y'all a breakdown of what this 863 pertains to, and also the fees for, consulting. So that total budget would be, $878,000, I'm sorry, I didn't include that right there. Okay, outside of waste, now this is a new budget that we've added to the books. Now that number you see in salaries is a combination of solid waste manager, 2 full-time drivers, O'Shea and Robert Hendrick, 2 full-time helpers, which are Charles, Mr. Lee, and the other helper, Mr. Burgess. And also incorporated into that figure is a part-time as needed driver, Alvin Caldwell. And that total salary is coming up to $179,740. And also, based on that number, that's how I come out with your contributions for your retirement, your health insurance, that's entailing 5 full-time and part-time personnel at $571 a month, $34,260 in health insurance, $13,750 in FICA Social Security. Gasoline budgeted $20,000 there, not budgeted $30,000 there, I'm sorry. Tires and expense, a little bit at $5,000. I did remove the lease and run off the truck. I did remove that because we did pay it, so that's going to help that budget there. Solid waste labor, that's just in case, we leave that on the books in case guys get sick, we're back in the truck, or you got to bring somebody in. It's just a contingency line item, just in case. Repairs and maintenance on the vehicle, that's an industrial vehicle, it's going to require service and maintenance, so $7,500. Radios and cell phones, $1,500. Garbage collection, $6,000. I budgeted up, moved it up to $20,000. If these numbers need to be adjusted later on in the fiscal year, you need to bring it back to y'all's attention. We just get this off the ground again. So dumping fees, we hope they stay fixed. I doubt they fluctuate, but we know gas is probably going to fluctuate, so that's why we moved up here to a room of $30,000 to see what would that do to the budget. 30, yeah, that's 30. Gas, yeah. I had to write that kind of thing.
Where's the dumping fee?
There it is, garbage collection, yeah.
This
20, yeah, that's what I would say. You think that's a good one? Do I need to move it up like so? Just play it by ear and adjust it as the fiscal year goes on.
What are you so
So far, in the middle of the year to date is 1,800.
far? That's for 2 months.
We have like 45 days, and that's how I kind of looked at it when I kind of made that kind of. I said that's 1,800 over 45 days. Kind of broken down into days and time 260 days a year, trying to come to somewhere close. For some reason, but yeah. But yeah, 20,000 of postage. I did talk with her. She said they're averaging around $476 a month for all the cards she's sending out, the bills. So we did that. So it comes to average about it's about 5,900, 5,800. So I just rounded off to 6,000. Advertising expense, 200. She would probably be attending some conferences for solid waste, and they do have conferences out there. And I think it probably be good for her to go to some too. So we moved that to 2,000. Now, what I do need to add, gentlemen, and I did leave off, I just thought about it earlier today, was the payoff on that first truck. What I need to record here in this budget is the interest and the principal. So I will add that to this number here. I know the truck was about $200,000, and the interest from the community bank was 6.5%. So I will add that to here also. When we complete the budget. This is the add principal and interest.
Bring out it's 3 years.
What is that payment? It's at 12 months. Yeah, but you can only do it over 12 days. 6.5%. I think it's about 17,000 in interest, I believe. Yeah. And I think the principal is
I
about
thought it more than 12 months,
Right, I think, yeah, the other guys did, well, who was that, what was that bank, Bank South? The one that didn't want to entertain us? Yeah,
They were talking.
Right, yeah.
You know,
right,
3 years.
right, and Dave said he could only go a year on it. That leaving it at 6.5. So I will add that to the budget to give you a final numbers on that too.
How much you have? How much you estimate on that?
So we're looking at, I think the truck is 200,000, somewhere up in there, and you're looking at 6.5% interest, which is about 13 or 14, I mean, on average. So I
But then we have to make a principal payment too?
right, the principal payment is about 200, because we're gonna make a balloon payment at the end of the year, yeah. So that would be after that principal payment, should drop the contract with about, I think it's around 220, something like that. Man, I just can't, I just left it out, I just thought about it this morning on the way to work, but I added to that number.
Principal payment at the end of 12 months. That's it, I was thinking about the first term.
Yeah.
Going back to
Yeah.
that, because in Bancourt, they didn't do it, but then, community was gonna do the same thing for us that they didn't do, I thought, and I thought it was gonna be,
That's why I
terms
said,
like that.
pay it off.
I didn't know it was gonna be,
Yeah, that's what I
end
was
of
telling
1
you.
year.
Right.
I was telling you, we should have went on and paid that truck off, that's what I kept saying, we should have paid that truck off. And then would have been just back to normal. So fine, we got to do what we got to do.
So yeah, I mean, based on that, yeah, I mean, based on that, you got to put it out, I mean, you want to increase your revenue base. Revenue base cover that short, but I look at the revenue side of it too. Yeah.
What's the ARP money for this?
Yeah, yeah, we still got some, yeah, right.
We increased it with that. We put $200 or something in there,
Yeah. Yeah, we get, I mean, I still think it's,
That's already been spent on
from the other truck, right.
Is that right?
Yeah,
No, it's something out there.
we put 350 the first time, and then 200,000 the second time.
Yeah.
550,000, right.
All right.
So that plus, like I said, daily expenditures, but I think y'all found none of this, the solid base, plus the revenue base. All righty, let's go to, I guess, the final page is 16 of 16, and basically these are custodial funds, probate judge, from the judiciaries, from the mystery, from the district attorney office, workers check, all these budget numbers pretty much remain the same. Payments to beneficiaries, 5,000, payments to individual, 4,500, district attorney fund, 8,000. And these basically all set exactly the same numbers against the revenue. Workers check, 300, probate judge's office, 1,500. That's the technology fund, probate judge, vehicle special training fund, 1,000. And revenue commission, manufactured housing trust fund, 350. That's a total of 8,794,146. But these numbers are going to change as we do have some adjustments to be made on the revenue and expenditure side. I mean, that includes that.
Well, while we're talking about it, the garbage service, we're estimating to have 1,100 customers.
Right.
So it really don't
Exactly. That's why
I don't know if that many people are gonna pay, our collection.
Right.
By the time we pay that truck payment next year, it's gonna be about breaking even.
Yeah, and
with
that's
the
right.
estimates.
Right.
If people don't pay what they're supposed to pay, what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, and that's why I want to ask you all, I was sitting there too, do you want me to put some, security money on it and just budget a transfer in from the general fund, to capture any contingency, just in case there's a shortfall? Because, I mean, we do it for a lot of departments, there's no shortfall, we do it for, jail, sometimes there's shortfall, we do transfers in. The general fund, I think, we probably do that from there, and that's what we usually do, anytime the, solid waste will have a shortfall, general fund.
Yeah, we don't have to support.
Yeah, it's going to yeah, right.
I think we need to keep a close eye on
Yeah.
the income. each
Right,
month.
right.
To see if we're hitting around that 33,000 that we're estimating.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
It's gonna bring in 30,000 a month.
Huh?
And that's bringing 30,000 to support this budget.
Yeah, that's bringing 30,000 a month. So we need to keep a
Right,
I
right.
see our collections, but they want to keep an eye on it, each month to see if we need to adjust it.
Right. Yeah.
So, like you said, the numbers are real close. $18,666.44.
No, sir, now we did adjustments. Gonna be closer now,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, yeah, really gonna be time in.
So,
Quick check, you want to- That concludes my presentation. Anybody else have anything? Jason?
I got the big question of the day. No pay raises in this, right? No pay raises in this for no one, right?
Right. Exactly.
You know, I don't want one of my people come back. Well, he got a raise and I didn't get one, so now, we no raises,
no worries.
no raises.
We crunched the numbers, man. This is tight out.
I'm just saying, I don't want to come back.
I got you.
And I'm told that Shirley jumped down my throat. Somebody got a raise and she didn't get one.
Sheriff, I believe this commission body have done due diligence to
I'm just saying, Commissioner.
to what I'm saying, to their employee last year and the year before that, trying to get them up to the standard to where they could, attain a job here in Bullock County and they pay decent.
Right.
We have done that. So this year, I don't know if the whole commissioner body agree on this, that we're not getting any raises this, in this budget.
Well, the reason I say that, Commissioner Allen with me, back in the past, you wait to tell me now today, and then come up in October, November, then folk get raised. And that ain't fair.
You saying after the budget, I've been heard?
What is the?
Yeah, I'm just saying, that ain't what you do, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, and they keep it fair. It's right now, you mean what you say. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Straight up.
We crunched the numbers, Sharon. We just being honest.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
just
tight.
saying, I mean,
Since I've been here, it's tight. We've ever been.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We gotta let everything level out. We
Yeah.
gotta let everything level out.
And see
Once
where
everything
we at.
level out, when we see where we at,
There you go.
then we'll go forward.
Right.
I mean, we can do something. First thing, we got to make
We
sure.
gotta make sure. it's
Because
better.
we got really gay,
Mhm.
the more Bullock County ever gave,
Yeah.
whether the people know it or not,
I
we have done it.
We did $250,000 in raises last year.
And the thing with it now, we gotta let it level out,
Yeah.
and once it level out, and we figure out the budget and figure out, make sure, the revenue is coming in like we should, then we'll look at something next year.
Commissioner, I
But
appreciate
this
that.
year,
But that's what I said in jail. I see one eating a donut, everybody that's in jail eating a donut.
I'm gonna say one thing before the sheriff leaves. I mean, I got a list here where I'm gonna present to you. I mean, you want to shoot it down, that's fine, but I'm still I'm gonna hand it over to you. And this is what, I did discuss this with Patrick. And I know the guys met the other day, and I feel like, some of this stuff is really pushed up by solid waste. I mean, as well as I do, there's some amounts of things in solid waste. Drivers with CDLs came in making some of them well over what guys have been here with the same credentials and more, been here for 10, 20 years, and they're making more than them in some cases. I don't feel like you understand that.
I do, and then that made the judge, he just talked about the same thing with Shirley Hurd. Shirley been with me for 20 years, but she ain't making what a real secretary supposed to make. You got other folks doing the same thing with more help. It's all right, Doug? Wait a minute, you brought it to me, now. Don't bite your tongue with the knife.
ain't fighting with them, you talk.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Shirley Hurd, the same one. She been my secretary for all these years, make less than anybody else in the office. But I'm just saying, I see what Jason's saying, but it be fair. If you give one, you give everybody.
Well, I said,
You make some proposal for sure?
Huh?
You make some proposal?
I gave Shirley, we made a proposal. But I'm just saying, if the money ain't there, it ain't there.
We're talking about $18,000 being close to what we're projecting.
Right.
Somewhere down the line, we got to say, hey, the money's not there.
It's not that.
Yeah, and everything else said that.
You gotta say it, it's not that. You know, everybody want to raise it, that's nothing wrong, that's fair, everybody deserves it.
Right.
But like Commissioner like I said, we were very fruitful, generous in giving last year. We gave $4,000
I think that's
to strengthen the pay last year.
That's right.
And $250,000
And rate and more than
And
rate.
raises, and we have generally gained, and I don't know about any other commissioner, I haven't even got a thing.
Now, if any department head want to adjust their budget and to meet it, I got no problem with it. Now, Patrick, if any department head wants to adjust their budget and meet increases or whatever you present, if you need it, I have no problem. The money's there, yeah.
And the commissioner, the problem I have with it, the jail never make money. We don't make money in jail. The inmates don't pay me to come to jail. They don't do it. And then when you finna say we get back in that same slot that we did 15 years, 10 years ago, where this department make money, yours don't. But it still ain't fat enough people. What you say?
What's the suggestion?
I told you I've been too long. I did that. I've been through that area.
I understand what you're saying. So what's the solution? There's a problem, like you said, been going on for 15 years. That's not gonna change. You're still not gonna make revenue.
Well,
So there has to be a solution. We have to sit down and talk and look at what potentially you can do. I don't know if it's right tickets. I hate to say right tickets increase revenue, but that is a viable revenue for most counties. So that is one thing. I don't know everything that you do that could do it. Plus, I don't know. But if it's worth sitting down talking with us and saying what we could do to increase it, to help, because we don't want to repeat what we did 15 years ago, Sheriff.
and that's it, you make, I mean, people get the feel of it like that. Well, baby, I can't give you a break to go to jail and make no money.
That's right.
But you got money coming everywhere else. You know, I don't know how to get it, but it's coming.
So what
But
you
to
suggest?
me, my suggestion is all of the county money. You spread it across the board. That county money. There ain't no individual money. That county money. I think
So you suggest to take money from the revenue department or the probate department or independent road and bridge department
to
to
spread it even across the board.
I don't,
That county money.
No, I don't think,
I don't think some monies I say you have to spend it for this, Sheriff.
yeah,
So,
That's not my expertise though, that's Patrick's
So,
expertise.
just an engineer now, let's just say. So I need to take all my people, put me engineer for them to get a raise,
Well,
to be fair to them.
put them in the road and bridge department. don't you
Yeah,
say?
that was it, I said everybody. look.
Then who gonna work in Sheriff?
I really had to run it myself. It ain't right.
I'm saying, Sheriff, I understand what you're saying.
And that's what I did,
Let's work to come up with a solution.
and that's what I've been doing for 15 years.
Okay, we can't solve it today, we can't solve it today, but we're gonna work on it.
Okay.
That's for sure.
what I gave you there too, though, that is somewhat based on credentials and qualifications and stuff. You know, CDL's big thing, or whatever the case may be, more so than that. Trying to encourage, advancement through additional certifications and stuff like that. I don't think it's always right to give straight across the board, whatever, because some guys, when they do different qualifications, different things, like everywhere you go now, what are they looking for? They're looking for truck drivers. You can't go down the street without a sign looking for truck drivers, CDL drivers wanted. And that has become more and more valuable as a tool. So when that's the case, we got guys working out there that have those tools, and you're not only competing against other counties to keep employees, you're competing against the private sector as well too. What I'm pushing there is not out of line, I don't think. It's actually within our budget to do, I believe. And as far as the salaries we've got there and staying within our budget.
I have a question, Jay. Sure. Based on what you're recommending for raises, is this reason because of what was said a couple of weeks ago, or because of the raises that weren't given in the last 5 years, so to speak?
I don't think it was necessarily said because of what was said a few weeks ago. I think it's said because, or put it there because of the way, especially some more of those qualifications have really increased in value. Like I said, if you want to retain good health, you're competing not only against other counties, but against the private sector as well too. you know, I talked to other counties, some of them, when I talked to this week, they went up, you know, quite a bit on wages, quite a bit. I know it varies all over the place, but, and I do understand the ARPA funds that went, you know, into the farmers, and I appreciate that. You know, I think the employees out there as well appreciate that. This is more of a long-standing thing that we try to keep employees with us. When you look on that other sheet I gave you, it's basically assistant engineer salaries throughout, doesn't list the particular counties, but we've got a good assistant engineer. I'd like to keep him on board, but to do that, I think we got to pay him something, you know, comparable to at least what other counties are paying. Been here 2 years. You know, you kind of figure out where he stands on that list. That's just what I think. I wasn't going to let the sheriff, you know, I was going to present that anyway, since the sheriff brought it up. You know, I felt like I need to go ahead and present what I was wanting to say, and you kind of take that and run with it. But, you know,
I feel the same way too, Jason. I got people down there with $13 an hour, sleep with murders. Murders, trouble now. I can't get nobody working in the jail. It's too late. $13 an hour. Same way, Jason, I ain't knocking it down, but same thing. You got one doing one job, one doing another, same thing with them.
What would be your recommendation to pay someone to sleep with a murder?
I got one question. Now, I think our problem has been resolved 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I hadn't heard anything about it. The county paid all this money, all universities do a study.
That's right.
What's the status of that?
That's
I think that would negate the sheriff complaint and also Jason's complaint and also my complaint. What's the status of adopting the policy of all universities? We spent how much money on that?
About $17,000.
And I think with those steps, like most counties and municipalities have across this state, including the state of Alabama itself, if Bullock County adopted it, I think that'll put to bed any complaints about pay raises.
I'll say one thing to that. And I mean, I agree with a lot of what the judge said there too. And I tried when that thing came out to match steps with how long employees had been here with their qualifications, whether they were, you know, labor, equipment operator, you know, depending on their qualifications, to pretty well match it. I don't know, I may have been the only one to do that.
Well, that's fine, Jason,
Well,
but it's already been established.
Okay,
And I want to know what the commission gonna say about it. We're talking about your department.
Well, let me finish with what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, as part of that, that's what the judge was saying. If you get a salary scale on there, it has to have an adjustment on it. That same salary scale they presented 3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it was, you know, that has to have an adjustment to it. Just this year, I mean, the engineer's salary at the state DOT, it comes out at 4% across the board increase. So they just take the same salary scale and they bump every one of those numbers up 4%. So where you were falling in there, boom, it's up 4%. I'm just saying that salary scale is great, but then you have to actually update it too to try to keep in touch with the times, you know, as the cost of stuff goes up. So that salary scale, you know, actually I've paid it now.
If they follow that, it will be updated. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some conversation about that.
True.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna stay on top of this as the administrator to see what other folks are doing, and if you have to do another study.
Oh, yeah.
What's the
administrator that we talked, we got about 30 or 40 of us talking in a group about, you know, the salaries and stuff.
Well, where we at on that?
Well, let me just say this, Judge. Let me just say this. I can tell you exactly what we had. That's the purpose that we gave, the raises that we gave. To get up to the standard we need to be here in Bullock County, and then we're going back to review that study. And that's what this commission
But
is
you
about.
still got folks coming before you talking about pay raises.
We know. Once this study, we're gonna adopt that study, once we review it and get it up to where we're comfortable with it, this body are comfortable with it, we're gonna adopt that study, and once we adopt it, and then it's gonna put the pay raises in order. Just like you say, it's gonna put them in order, and that's what needs to be done. That's what needs to be done. You just don't get a raise because this employee got raised. You get a raise on merits or whatever, you know, we gotta put something in order. We got to do something for it, so here, you know, we talking about the budget now, and that's what we're discussing now. And we know how close this budget is, and we see how it is, and all of us need to take that into consideration on this budget that we're looking at now.
Going back to what the judge said, 4 or 5 years ago when we adopted the job descriptions and got all of that in line, we looked at the pay scale and the pay raises, and just like then, it's like today. The budget couldn't afford to pay it. The money's just not there to deal with those pay raises. So we didn't adopt the pay scale, we adopted the job description scale. Now we need to address us a pay scale, one that can be managed within the amount of money we have to work with. We need to adjust one and get one going, but those steps and what they provided and explained to us, we just couldn't afford it at that time, and I don't know if we can afford it at this time or not, but we need to get a scale that we can work from, that we'll be able to sustain in our budget and carry through, because there's going to have to be some cuts. Jason, I see what you recommended. What can you do out there to save on gasoline and cut to bring some of this money into play? And back to what Commissioner Larkin said, the raises that we gave, I don't know the amount, but we brought everybody up from 10 to 13. That was a $2 raise right there not long ago that we gave from ARPA funds that we got to maintain in this budget going forward. We can't take those salaries back to $10. And now you had some folks out there $9.50, I understand, and stuff like that. But everybody got jumped up to $13 an hour. Others got a $1 raise back when we did all of this. So we brought that up out of ARPA funds to do that. And now our budget now got to carry that today and carry it on forward down the line. So we gave some raises back because it's certainly everybody needs to make more money, and what you got is not unfair or anything for what people in the ranges are today. But $18,000 difference in the budget, $18,000. And there are other things to do from what we're looking at today was presented. And we're going to study this and look at it. I'm not going to vote on this now. No, and we'll go ahead. I'm going to look back at the funds we have and what we have. Is the money there? You can't pay it if it's not there.
Well, right now, I'm looking at the pay scale right now. Most employees now, for their salary, wages, we operate almost at a level 12, 13 across the board. There's only 2 more levels left on the pay scale. So we superseded the first 5, 6, 7, 8. If everybody's making 13 and up, we well above level 12. We're right at level 11, and that's a grade number 3.
Where's the top? 15?
Top is 15 levels in 15 states. There's 15 and 15. That was the grade. So right now we at 11 and grade 3, and then grade 3. That department would be, grade 3 is a van driver, equipment operator, roads and bridges. Grade 5, truck driver, solid waste, revenue clerk 1 and 2, probate clerk 2, revenue clerk 2, deputy sheriff, sergeant, and courthouse building manager. In grade 6, bookkeepers, managers, equipment operator 3, that's level 6. Mechanic and sergeant. So we definitely need to sit down and turn this out and sit down with our department heads and let's look at it, let's make a decision.
That's the point of us getting the raises, to get it up to the standard to what we can do that.
We got the scale, so.
Yeah, I'm saying we there. We up to the scale where we need to be at. Now, the thing with it, we need to adopt. We need to get it adopted.
Let's press out and get a conversation, we sit down and we sit down and talk about it. Every department head knows who in their office, what they qualify, and what grade they're gonna put them in. And know how long they've been working there.
That's right.
And they may say, hey, no, this person here been here 15 years, they definitely, at this level here. And you classify them, the department head's gonna have to classify them. You know, last year, I was too much involved in raising salary with knowledge I didn't have. You know, we were just shooting something out there. So, once again, HR, human resource, keep saying it. We gotta do something. Because that's what we're doing right now. Look at the pay scale and interpret it. That's human resource work.
And I'm gonna say this no more.
We can do
Commission, you killing each other department when y'all do that. By the way, in my department, see some other department get a raise, and they can't get one. I'm
But Sheriff, okay, you don't know what happens in the next department, say at probate jail. He may have accepted a clerk that was missing their work or whatever it may be. We don't know if you recommend people not coming to work for what's the reason they haven't got a raise and what's the reason people are reluctant to give a raise.
Yeah.
There's a whole kind of factor that goes into an HR file to determine all this. Just shoot it to us just right here. I'm blindsided by it. Sure, it sounds unfair. If someone in this department making $15 and your jail making $13 an hour, it sounds very unfair. But what are the factors to the 15 and 13?
That's right.
It's a lot that goes into that. And when we don't have a file on each employee, it's hard to determine.
And understand the commission, when to go back, like I said, way back, where this department making money, go and ain't, it still ain't fair to the people. Yeah, what can I do? One told me, well, Shay, you need like this, say, okay. That's what I need to do to make money for my department.
That's the thing. We're gonna talk about that, Sheriff. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that, and it ain't fair. Because my department, you know, I don't have no money making, see, theory, no kind of way. But I can't go up on no land tax to make money.
If I say one thing, I mean, but yeah, I mean, you know, I don't.
We'll talk, Sheriff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure I understand your point, but it ain't all straight across the board. Like I said, if you got CDL drivers out there that's short, you're competing against other jobs trying to hire the same CDL guy. If you've got other law enforcement, the state troopers, you know, raise their rates or something like that, you got law enforcement, I'm talking about people actually carrying the gun out there, not people in the office, but you got those people that are out there, and then those rates go up a lot, you gotta compete with that. That's one case, law enforcement, you got CDL case, you got equipment operator case, you got clerk's case, I mean, they're all different. Just to lump them in there and say, we're gonna give them all $2 an hour raise, that ain't
And
necessary.
that's you're right, but you know who I'm competing with? I'm competing with Wayne Farm. I'm competing with Wayne Farm. Wayne Farm got a big old sign out there saying Stone Yard $17. And I got a sign some Stone Yard $13. And I can't compete with you.
This place is gonna work.
Thank you.
It'll work. No, we just gotta sit down and just look at it one more time in the department. Because people looking at Jason, they got that shit to work.
They make money every
We're right here.
But see, at the same time, that's why we need some policies and procedures, HR. Ms. Dennis presented this, we need a handbook. When folks don't show up and be 5 minutes, this is the way I did it in the city. And then you can evaluate folks when they come to work, what they're doing, you know how many days they off, and they call in. We need handbooks and stuff to guide our employees that we can follow with HR and everything else to make sure everybody's pulling their load. Everybody's based on this, that, and the other. Are you there? Do you punch in on time? All these jobs that you clock in on. If you 5 minutes late, you got so much time. If you listen, and then it adds up, then you call in. You check, okay, wait a minute. You're not here. You messing with the whole train. If you're not here to move, everybody's got to wait on you and stuff like that. So we need accountability across the board, and we need to tighten up these departments. Running this gas and all this stuff and the big gas prices. If you can do things, and I'm speaking to you, Jason, just tighten up that shop out there and say, okay, we're making money for the county. We ain't wasting money for the county. And we can come in and everybody's on a team and working. You can't get somebody on a drive a truck when you got garbage trucks and go dump them and all this kind of confusion and stuff like that. It's just nothing happening for me. Nothing's happening for me. You talk about raises. Engineers, assistant engineers, ain't doing this work and getting ready to prepare themselves to do this inspection and training folks on these roads. We've been talking about 5 years. That's why I'm saying I'm just going to speak it like I see it. And I see it every day and I'm looking every day. And I'm going to be looking and continuing to look because there's no time we need to be as tight as we can be and do what we need to do. And we need to look at this pay scale and satisfy these folks. We can't keep folks. We want folks to have raises. But you see ain't no money there. What can you do? Where we going to get it from? You got to save it or cut something somewhere. You got to create it to get it. You can't just, it's not there, but you can't do nothing with it. So we got to see, we got to look at it seriously, see what we can do. To get to that point, and show where the money at. You won't all the raises what you present. Show where the money at to support it in the budget. You want to get the budget? It's about $18,000, one way or the other. I'll show it.
I think we as a commissioner body, our employees, with the fresh benefits they get, free cell phone, free uniforms. Most counties don't do that. We paying more for insurance than the average county for our employees. I really believe this county is doing well towards their employees. And the thing with it, we don't gauge, and our thing now, we got the budget for Bullock County to go forward. We just can't budget for this year. We got to budget for the years to come. We just can't just say, hey, we budget from year to year. No, we got to budget for years to come. You got to have some reserve. If we don't have no reserve, it's something that we face a hardship. We're in bad shape. So we as county commissioner body got to keep some reserves to where this county can go forward. And we can't be cutting it close on our budget. And this is close as since I've been on it, this is close as we've ever cut the budget. All because we try to give raises to get up to the standard to where our employees need to be. But yet it's still, no matter how much we do, it's still not enough. So we as a county commissioner body got to make a decision.
We need to look at sales tax and look at something else. Like some counties have sales tax and stuff. And that's what we're doing. And we need to look at bringing some more money in because it never increased. Our revenue stayed flat the same while everything else is going up. We're going to have to look at a revenue source for this county because everything goes up every year. And these taxes and things remain the same. So we need to be looking at some revenue to do something of this nature. So we need to reinvent something or do something.
We don't have no new. Well, what's being developed? Nothing.
Yeah, I said.
You see what I'm saying? We don't hear nobody come to us about new development here in Bullock County. We don't hear nobody coming to us about bringing something new to Bullock County. That's one more thing. We got to have a strategic plan for Bullock County. And somebody got to bring us something before us. You don't be in a position and then not bring nothing before the county commissioners to improve the county.
You get over the plan. We sitting here without a plan.
Yeah, we need a plan. We need a plan. When I put the class, it's supposed to be a plan. What your future is. You don't just sit in there and not have a plan. So our thing here on out, guys, we're gonna have to come up with a plan. What we want to see going on in Bullock County. What we want to see coming up. What we want to see. What new business that we're gonna try to go out.
Yeah, like a strategic plan, man, you got a 2, 5, 10-year period, you know.
That's right. And you got to have one where you can look on the shelf and say, hey, we got one that we're gonna work towards this goal. But if you don't never work towards a goal, you'll never get anything done. And that's what's going on in Bullock County. All these years, we ain't working towards a goal. We got to work towards a goal.
Has that one ever been developed?
No, it haven't been developed. That's what I'm saying. No.
20 years ago, we had one some time ago, I think.
There's
some things you look at your plan, you adjust it every 3 years, you look at it, stay up with it. That's what the recommended thing we should be doing. So we're not doing what we should be doing. We're dropping the ball up here and looking at it. We have responsibilities here. We just not taking charge. We should have a plan. We should have had one. We should be working on one now. It should be in the budget. We work on a plan, not just putting something together. We need to be planning. We need to put in the budget for a handbook or something to guide us. We need to put this stuff in the budget to get us off the track. Not in the budget, we can't do it. We need to have a strategic plan in the budget. We need to have something like what we presented here, a handbook, whoever developed it. We need some rules and regulations. When an employee hired, this is what you do. If you're late 5 minutes or whatever the circumstances are with HR, it's given to you when you come to work. And this is what you expect. When you got this thing.
You see right here, we don't even have, guys, we need
land. We need to put this in the budget.
We need land. We need land. Bullock County needs land. But we can at least have an industrial park. And we ain't talking about those 60 acres. We ain't talking about that. We got to get some land that we can develop for people to come here to Bullock County. But if you got, ain't nobody pushing to do that, it ain't caring nothing about it. It ain't nothing going to happen.
We need to put a plan in this budget.
We want that plan.
I mean, we need to put that in the budget to prepare a plan. You don't need to kicking that down the road.
They don't need to get down the road.
So we can put it in the budget, how we gonna do a plan, we can check the county commission association, they offer all advice, we pay the dues, utilize them to the fullest, and help us with that, you know, as it relates to anything we need to know, just call on them.
Yeah, so you said put one in the budget, I mean, so what we gotta do?
That's what I'm saying.
That's whatever it costs, if we just gonna allocate over every department. to pay for
Every
it.
department,
Yeah.
every department got to pay that.
Since it's gonna pay the role in every department, right?
So Bullock County have a plan, it makes us look like we're doing something, you know.
Bullock County have a plan.
You know, we know.
James County, they was weaving together. Now, we need to have us a plan, then what we looking to do going forward.
Well, Commissioner Larkins, that's kind of why I put together that proposal for, the general city meeting about the grants and stuff, because there are, there are things that the county qualify for. Like, for instance, just to give you an example, like, when the sheriff was in here talking, he was talking about how, you know, the pay raises and stuff. So, there are grants that his department qualifies for. You just gotta have somebody out there looking for it, and that could be a way to bring revenue into the county. You know, there are other ways that you could bring, you know, you could consider, just hiring, maybe, some student interns. There are grants out there for student interns that the county can adopt to, that's how you can help with the pay. You know, there are grants that help just about in every department or every sector of the government, whether it's state government, county government, or federal government.
It might be one
So,
of the plan.
and then not only that, you got a lot of historical places out here that would help to build up that jail, and you just have a lot, you know, out there. So that's kind of why I proposed that during, the general city meeting. It's a lot of help that is kind of qualified for. You just gotta get the job done, and, you know, that's another way the county can boost its revenue. But you have to spend it correctly.
So, Pat, what's the next step on the budget, where we go from here?
I guess.
Bring it back for approval.
Yeah, we're gonna go approve it. Yeah,
What's the deadline, before what?
before the 30th.
Oh.
No, that's what, next Friday or Thursday, next Friday. What you gentlemen think? I mean, what I'm gonna bring back is also an adjustment to solid waste, off the top of my head. Yeah, so that's solid waste adjustment.
Those on adjustment that,
And one thing I'm gonna do too, because what I need to know, and I'm gonna get with the bond indenture committee. That money that we have received on an ATM, you know, we got to draw down $358,000. You know, we didn't see it. That money came directly from them. We didn't get it. So I'm trying to see how are we going to show that as revenue and expense. You know what I'm saying? How are we going to show that? Can we even show that on our books? Because we didn't see it. The only thing we do is draw a requisition and draw that money down. They go directly to the contractor. We don't see it touch our books. We just draw it down. But I want to see, is it eligible to be shown as revenue and expenditure on our books as well? Because it is part of a bond issue. So I'm gonna ask them that today when I go back in there and stuff. And I will
I think it would have to be shown it came to us.
There you go, that's right.
what's the 350 drawdown for?
You know, Jason had it, well, Jason for, Road County on 30 somewhere out there. At $358,000. Yeah, 89. That was the only drawdown we had on that ATM so far. So I think you show it as revenue and expense at the same time. I believe. Whatever that amount that came in, you want revenue and also the expense, so an offset.
I'm trying to keep up, you said for road 89?
Yeah, I think.
Red Oak Road.
Yeah.
So we use ATL money to finish up that road?
Yeah.
It was part of the ATM.
Yeah, it was part of ATM, yeah.
So we have used some ATL money?
Yeah, $358,000, yeah. That was back then, about 2 months ago or something.
That's all the bond issue.
That's it.
Now, we got the expense side covered for the annual principal and interest. It's just the revenue, that bond issue itself. I'm just gonna get with them, and if I need to set it up, I set it up as a long-term note in the financials itself. I need to get with them on that. But as far as revenue and expenditure reporting, you can see how we're gonna handle that, because that 358 should be established as a revenue and an expenditure offset. All it's gonna do is increase revenue and budget still by the same amount and the expenditure, so there won't be no difference, but it still has to be booked.
But now to address some of these issues, I'd like to see in this budget, an employee's handbook put in the budget, and a strategic plan, beginning, I don't know what the cost will be, see what, and get a plan, so we're coming out in this new fiscal year, planning to address some of these issues, that's coming before us. So,
Well, that's HR, so that's why I presented that in the, strategic planning is all HR. That's all HR.
I keep pushing, we need to seriously look at, from your office, I say it every day, I believe.
yeah.
We need an HR person. And perhaps I need to
That's
look
strictly
at.
In
HR.
every case, if you do that, that means, you know, it's all, it's money is not in that office. You know?
Right.
Unless somebody in that office is gonna look and take that position.
Well, someone in there is HR, they just need to be trained in all they need to do. We have an HR person there, somebody's assigned to HR, because they do this stuff. You have to have an HR, all these small counties, 2 or 3, 4, somebody's assigned to HR. The HR responsibility.
Somebody, human resource manager.
Yeah,
That's different than just HR related issues. We deal with HR issues up here. We need a manager for this county.
they manage all the
Right.
their insurance and all that.
Let's set a date, Patrick, to come back. Let's set a date.
Okay, Jim, well, I mean, what's good for y'all? I mean, I'll bring it back for approval, or just, y'all wanna bring it back?
Discussions, I guess, for.
Today is Wednesday. You said you wanted, I guess, something on the strategic plan in the handbook included in the budget too. So we will have to look at, I mean, what it's cost, I mean, to allocate on each department.
How about next Wednesday?
Next
It was
Wednesday.
2 days before the third.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay.
Next Wednesday?
That's what I was thinking, if that's good with everybody.
Okay.
Instead of waiting till the very last day.
Right.
Come a day or two early and take you out of emergency or something.
10 o'clock Wednesday, for everyone?
TM is good with me on Wednesday.
Actually, I did mention that I got that bid opening, couple items on Tuesday. I should be able to bring that back.
Okay, well, you
On
can say.
Wednesday or whatever, to make a recommendation on that.
Okay, that's right. You said it opens Tuesday.
Correct.
Tuesday, 27th, yeah.
Now, Monday, Patrick, I want to come down and look at our financials from last year to this year.
What time?
I'm gonna have someone with me look in the office and look at, let me see, I'm gonna look at the money. Oh, this coming Monday. We set up and look at all the reconciled bank statements from October to October.
Yeah.
See how we stand.
Okay, no problem.
Look going over this.
Yeah.
That'll be Monday.
Monday, no problem. All right, Jimmy, y'all said Jason's bid opening at Tuesday, what time is it?
It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. And then the next day.
What you been doing?
It's, we did the gas and diesel, and there's also the, some asphalt. I think it's the 2 items we had, asphalt, and gas and diesel.
Oh, yeah, I sent it, it's because I sent it back, he said, thank you, but he hadn't got that with me yesterday. Okay. What is it, that's coming out here? Yeah, oh, yeah, Scott, okay, so he said, yeah, it's about that this show. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, another 2 months. Yeah, he said, well, he came down there, he said, we took the work the other day. So he was gonna holler.
So on that proposal that we had, holding the line.
Yeah.
In the time of the sound system.
Okay, so you went 25%, right? 25%, okay. Yeah, before you knock it out. Yeah, I believe that's
Was any of this wire,
He looked at it, he think he should maybe tie in